Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sloppy. Yeah, I know, right? I shouldn't be dressing this way. I'm sorry. Let me fix this, okay? There you go. I'm sorry for the malfunction. Anyways, hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Shazan Nazrah binti Abdullah Haslin with student ID 21B0836, and today I'm going to be talking about fiscal and economic system in Islam. So, what is fiscal and how about economic system? An economic system is a means by which governments or societies organize and distribute available resources, services, and goods across geographic region or country. Economic systems regulate the factors of production, including land, labor, capital, and physical resources. It also encompasses many institutions, entities, decision-making processes, agencies, and public consumptions that comprises the economic structure of a given community. However, on the other hand, in Islamic economy, it has been described as the three-sector economy, by having a profit-making commercial sector, voluntary sector, and state sector. The institutional framework of an Islamic economy is provided by the three sectors functioning together. In Islamic principles, fiscal and budgetary virtues aim to develop a society based on a balanced distribution of wealth by placing material and spiritual values at the same level. Also, it is regarded as a tool to arrange and supervise human behavior whom are influenced and affected through the incentives provided by the increasing government's revenue. Do you know the objectives of fiscal in an economy? No? Conventionally or Islamically, they both do share the same objectives, which is to resolve economic problems a country faced. However, there are some differences between them. So one of the objectives of fiscal and Islamic economy is, number one, poverty alleviation. Such components in the fiscal policy in this system, such as zakat, infaq, al-waqf, charity, and so forth, has elements that it contained in this policy. As zakat is in one of the 5 pillars in Islam, it is a mandatory act that must be carried out by all Muslims every year. Generally, zakat actually lightens the burden of the poor. Other components, namely as mentioned earlier, is only voluntary, and it could be done by the Muslims at their own will. Hence, it will help the government to alleviate or to reduce poverty. Number 2, prevention of gross inequalities in income and wealth. One of the objects of the Islamic system of the distribution of wealth is to enable everyone to receive what is rightfully his. But in Islam, the concept of right here is somewhat different from what it is from the other system of economy. One of the ways in obtaining the right of wealth is the direct participation of the process of production, and only for those who have participated are the ones who are going to be entitled to a share of wealth. In the basic principles of Islam, wealth is the property of Allah Himself, and He alone can lay down all the rules to how it is going to be used. In the Islamic point of view, not only to those who have participated directly in the production, but also to those whom Allah has made it obligatory upon others to help, are the legitimate sharers of wealth. Therefore, the poor, the needy, the helpless, and the pauper has also the rights to wealth, for Allah has made it obligatory on all those Muslim wealth producers whom wealth in the first place should be distributed, that they should pass on to them some part of their wealth. Number 3. Prohibition of interest. As payment of interest is prohibited in any type of loan in Islam, as a result, an Islamic economy would be unable to control the rate of interest to attain monetary equilibrium. Therefore, the Islamic authorities should devise a strategy. To achieve this, balance the rate of use on idle cash is an alternative tools. These are the kinds of taxes that would normally include in all types of fiscal policy. In Islamic economies, economic dues are the most basic tools for implementing discretionary fiscal policy. Hence, Islamic economies would use fiscal policies to promote money market equilibrium. These objectives were developed from the Quran and Sunnah and implemented in the rudimentary socio-economic structure that existed during the Prophet's, peace be upon him, lifetime and the Caliphate. Later, as Islamic society has become more sophisticated, Islamic intellectuals such as Al-Ghazali, Abu Ubaid, Ibn Taymiyyah, Al-Shatibi, and others will address these policy aims and their impacts, and they will suggest the methods on achieving them. Now, let's talk about the differences between conventional and Islamic fiscal in an economy system. In conventional economic system, the goal here is to maximize satisfaction and profit in life without looking at the human spiritual needs. In this system, it is always based on common sense driven needs and desires and will not act intentionally to make decisions that will harm their satisfaction. It is a necessity for a country's economic recovery after a crisis or a recession, and to boost economy in order to achieve positive growth, so that the main focus of fiscal policy of capitalist countries is economic growth. In addition, this system has no guidance in carrying out economic activities, as it has its own rules and it is used as guidance, as it gives full freedom to everyone to be carried out, and it changes according to the society's condition, as it is not standard. As for Islamic fiscal, on the other hand, it does not only focus on maximizing profit, but it also covers the life of the present world and the hereafter. The concept of this system about well-being is very broad, for which spiritual enhancement is a priority rather than owning fortune. It is the state obligation and the people's rights, so that fiscal policy is not merely the necessity for economic improvement or improving the people's welfare. In this case, the state has a role to fulfill the individual needs both in the economic field or the other field, secondary and primary. Furthermore, this system is an important part of the broader economic systems, and its parameters are set by the Islam's core principles. Moving on, taxation in Islamic fiscal policy. Now, the goal of taxation here is to raise income of the government. In Islam, zakat is comparable to taxation in both to ensure that the country's resources are to be shared more equally amongst the members of society. The distinction between zakat and taxation is that zakat is to be distributed to certain people, which is the 8 asnafs, whereas taxes is to be collected to sustain the government spending. Zakat is also a divinely mandated obligation, although taxes is a policy government imposed. To summarize, Islamic and conventional fiscal policy has its dissimilarities and has its own ways in implementing it in their respective system, which is to prioritize good deeds and the hereafter over property ownership, the enhancement of people's welfare, and to follow the elements of Islamic teachings that are strictly required. Zakat, that plays a role as an essential component in this system, has proven that it eliminates poverty rate in a country and it promotes equal distribution of wealth. Okay, now we have come to the end of the video. Thank you for listening. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oh, wait. Don't forget to subscribe and like my YouTube channel if you want to.